This is the inside of the Benimar Mileo 243. If I firstly move to the main control panel, I can turn the 12 volt on by firstly pressing this button here, followed by this button. Once we've done this, you can now see all of the lights have come on, and all of these lights can be individually turned on and off on their own switches. Next we have water pump on and off. We need the water pump on so we can get water out of the taps, flush the toilet and fill the boiler if it's being drained down. Awning light on and off just here. And then buttons along the bottom mainly give us information. So this first one here will give us a condition of the leisure battery. Next we have condition of the vehicle battery, how much water is in the fresh water tank. When the grey water tank needs emptying, a red light will begin to flash next to the waste tank symbol just here. And when your fresh water drops into the last amber, this amber light will occasionally flash, again just indicating that you're getting low on water. And if either of the batteries were low, again you'll get flashing indicators. This button here just controls the illumination of the control panel. The green light here is just indicating that we're currently connected to mains electricity, and a light will basically come on as soon as the engine is started, just where my finger is here, to let you know that the alternator is charging both leisure and vehicle batteries. This can only be viewed when the control panel has these two buttons turned on. If I now move to the trimmer control panel for the heating and hot water, you'll see at the moment that it's currently displaying the time, and again it's just indicating that we're connected to mains electricity. If I now press the button, we'll get a series of icons, and as I begin to rotate it, they will begin to flash. So if we start with the first icon just here, this one is for your heating. So if I now press the button, you'll see that heating is off, and all I now need to do is just rotate it and pick whatever temperature I would like it inside the motorhome, and it will go right the way up to 30 degrees. So once decided on a temperature, click the button again just to store it in, and you'll now see a little flame has appeared above. That little flame there just represents the heating system, and it's just letting you know that you've set a parameter. Whenever the heating is in operation, the flame will begin to flash, and it will continue to flash until it's achieved the temperature you have asked. If I now move to the next icon, this one here is for your hot water. So again, if I now click, you'll see that hot water is off, and again if I now rotate, we can heat hot water in eco mode, which will give us a temperature of about 40 degrees. I can heat in hot, which will give us a temperature of about 60 degrees. And I can also perform a boost on the boiler. This is particularly handy if there's going to be more than one of you having showers in quick succession of each other, or if you just want hot water very quickly. If you do perform the boost and the heating's running, the heating will turn off as it needs to use that extra power to perform the boost. And again, the icon will continue to flash until it's achieved the temperature you have asked. Next we have power source selection. So at the moment, to do heating and hot water, I'm using mains electricity at 2 kilowatts, indicated by the two little lightning strikes here. If I rotate, I can lower the power consumption to 1 kilowatt. Very handy if we're on a low amp site to try and avoid tripping. If we have both power sources available to us, we can run in dual fuel, so on a mixture of gas and mains at 2 kilowatts, or a mixture of gas and mains at 1. These settings are very handy in the colder months of the year if you want to get up to temperature nice and quickly, and it will only consume gas as it's required. And then lastly, if we have no main supply, we can solely run on gas. Next we have the circulation fan for the heating system. So we can either run the fan in eco, high or boost. And if I now turn off both hot water and the heating and return back to it, we can also use it to vent the motorhome. It has a fan speed of 1 to 10. If I now drop to these lower icons, this first one here is for a basic timer. So if I now click on it, we can set a start time. And then we can set when we would like the timer to finish. And then we just decide what we would like on within that time period. Lastly, timer on or off. If I now activate the timer will come on, and now within that time period those settings will apply. And as I've set it between the time period it is at the moment, you'll see that it is now active, and you can see the timer icon flashing just here. If I now return to it, I can now turn the timer back off, and when I go back into it I can then alter it again. Next we have clock set. And then lastly, on the little picture of the spanner, we have the settings menu. So within here we have offset for the thermostat, with the thermostat being just there. So if you don't think it's quite correct, you can just slightly adjust it. Temperature, just if you prefer it displayed in Celsius or Fahrenheit. Brightness of the screen, 12 or 24 hour clock, language, index, which is really just for the technicians, it just lets them know what software it's running, and then lastly full factory reset. So from time to time this particular control panel may throw up an error code. It's usually something relatively basic, so if you're trying to run the system on main supply and you're not hooked up or you've tripped, etc., it's going to let you know. Or if you're trying to run it on gas and your bottle's depleted, not turned on, etc., again it will let you know. An error code will appear as a series of numbers and letters in the center, and you'll get a warning triangle just appear where my finger is here. If the problem is something relatively easy that you can fix, once you've rectified it, usually the error code will just automatically disappear. If that's not the case, just return to the warning triangle and double click on it, and it will then sometimes usually say no error and then disappear. If that still doesn't work, if you've still got anything running along the top, just turn them off, because it can reassess a lot faster when it's not trying to do lots of things at once. And if you've done that and you still have no joy, I always suggest the good old-fashioned turn it off, turn it back on again. And the way you do that is just by holding this button in until it says off. If when you turn it back on you still have the error code, I always suggest just doing the factory reset, because sometimes that's all it requires. This particular system can be also controlled via the Truma app. If you are going to use this, firstly download from the App Store onto your device. Once you've done this, make sure your Bluetooth is turned on your device, and then launch the app, and then follow the on-screen instructions. It will firstly ask you to go to the iNet box, which in this particular model is just located above the microwave, and you can just see it flashing away just here. It will ask you to press the Bluetooth button, which will flash blue like it is now, and then you'll be able to connect up to it. Once you've connected up, you will be able to control your heating and your hot water locally via Bluetooth. What you can also do, if you wish, is purchase a pay-as-you-go SIM card, insert it roughly where my hand is now, and then register the SIM card through the app, and then you will be able to control your heating and your hot water from much further afield. If I now come down to the bench seat just here and remove the cushions, and I now just lift up, you will see that underneath here we have the Truma combi boiler itself. The main thing we need to know about this boiler is how to drain it down for winterization, and it's just done on this blue diamond just here. This particular drain valve is automatic, so if the temperature inside the motorhome drops below about 3-4 degrees, this valve will automatically open up and drop all of the water out of the boiler to frost protect itself. If you are going to drain the boiler down manually, firstly make sure that the water pump is turned off, and then all you need to do is just come to the blue diamond and twist it, and then what will happen is a blue button will pop out at the base of the unit. Now all the water is draining out. I always suggest that if you are fully winterizing the motorhome, you also go around and open up all of the taps, because this will help release any airlocks in the system and help it drain down much more efficiently. When it comes to refilling the boiler, make sure your taps are closed. Return the blue diamond to this position and then push the blue button in. Then it's just a matter of making sure you've got water in your fresh water tank, turning the water pump back on, and then the water pump will begin to refill the boiler. Allow the pump to run for a few minutes and then start opening your taps. They'll cough and splutter as they force the air out. Once they're running freely on both hot and cold, reclose and the system will fully reprime itself. If this drain valve just automatically opens due to it being too cold, all you need to do to reset it is just push the blue button back in again. If it will not stay in, it's just too cold and you'll need to turn your heating on to generate some heat to allow it to reset. So just remember, the only time you're touching this blue diamond is when you are manually draining the boiler down. Also in here we have the battery charger just here, and then the other part of the battery charger just here. This is also where the solar panel is linked to as well. You do not need to do anything with the solar panel, it will just smart charge the batteries as it's required. We then also have the main trip switches just here, so if anything is not working on main supply, just check to see whether or not you've tripped. You will also find the test button just where my finger is just here. We then have the 12 volt fuses just here, so again, if anything is not working on 12 volt, just check to see if you've blown a fuse. In this particular model of motorhome, if you are going to blow a fuse, the one you are most likely to blow is this 20 amp fuse just here. This is the fuse for the electric drop down bed. You can blow a fuse if there is too much stuff on that bed when you put it up. If the motor goes under too much resistance, it will just cut itself out to avoid any damage. Tucked just under the table here, you will find a switch, and this switch here is on when it's illuminated, and it controls the tank heater for the waste tank. So if you are using the motorhome in extremely cold climate, you can pop this on to avoid any frost damage occurring to that tank. The freshwater tank does not have a heater in because it's an internal tank. And if I now just remove these cushions just here, I can show you. So underneath here we have the water pump just there, and then we can also gain access into the freshwater tank at this point just here, just by unscrewing the black cap if you want to clean the freshwater tank out. TV bracket just here, and then we have TV aerial connection point just here. 12 volt or mains, just depending on what kind of TV you're running. The television aerial is again just above the microwave, and it's just this white box here. Just make sure that the TV aerial booster box is turned on and that the boost is usually virtually set to maximum before trying to tune a telly in. Extractor fan just here. So we have light on and off, and then fan on and off. Then we have the electric hot plate. So this will work when the motorhome's connected to main supply, and it operates just here. And then we have the two gas burners, and it's just push in, twist, and push the igniter. Beneath that, the oven and the grill. And if I now push in to the left, we can ignite the oven. And then if I go back to off and then push in again and then go to the right, we can then fire up the grill. Cutlery drawer just here, and then just above you'll find the gas isolation taps for the motorhome. So we've got the fridge, heating and hot water, barbecue point and the oven. They're all in the on position, and quite frankly they can stay like that. I always say they are more for maintenance than anything else. If you do smell gas in the motorhome, go to the source and turn off the gas bottle. Again, with the microwave, this will work when it's connected to mains electricity. It's always advisable to remove all the contents for travel. We have power settings just here. And then we have timer set just here. Beneath that is the Thetford fridge freezer. On and off just here. And this is an automatic model. So as long as it's on A for auto, it will find the best power source it can for you. So because we're currently hooked up to main supply, it's put us directly onto mains. If I was now to run outside and pull the mains lead out, it would then automatically attempt to fire itself up onto gas. And then as soon as we start the engine of the motorhome, it will then go over to 12 volt maintain to keep itself cold whilst on the move. As you can see, the display will disappear after a few seconds. Just tap the on off button to re-illuminate it. We can take it out of auto if we wish. It's just by pressing here. So I can manually put it onto mains. I can manually put it onto 12 volt maintain. We're going to get an error code at the moment and a red flashing light because the engine's currently not running, and I can manually put it onto gas. But really, auto is the easiest option to have it on. Temperature control just here, and then this last button just here controls the unit's anti-condensation jacket. So condensation jacket off and on. The jacket needs to be turned on, especially in the warmer months of the year. This will stop a build-up of condensation behind the unit, which would then run down and form a puddle beneath it. Freezer box at the top, and then fridge at the bottom. And because it is quite a large fridge, it does have a secondary travel catch just at the bottom here. Above my head is the Omnivent Fan. To use this, firstly open the roof vent, and then middle button to turn the unit on, and then we have arrows out for extraction and arrows in for cooling, and it's variable fan speed just by pressing. Do make sure that all roof vents are closed again for travel. Washroom. So we've got the shower cubicle just here. Do make sure that the shower screen is fully secure for travel. We then have the basin and then the cassette toilet. So the bowl does swivel open to the cassette just on the grey lever just here, and then push to flush just on the blue button just here. Level indicator just here, so this will rotate round to red when the cassette needs emptying. And then close to the cassette again just here. If this has been left open and you try to remove the cassette from the outside, it will not come out. So if you do feel resistance, just make sure that nobody has left this open. Light switch in here is tucked right in the corner just here underneath the vanity cabinet. Wardrobe just here. And then we have storage under both of these sections just here. And then we have the rear bed, and this is height adjustable from the garage area. There are more TV points and power points just at the back just there. With the front electric drop down bed, before lowering, make sure the the sink glass is down, and then press the button just here. You have full control, so as soon as you let go it will automatically stop. Once it's down as far as it can go, it will automatically stop, and then just pop the ladder onto these 2 points just here. Underneath the mattress you will find all of the netting that can be then clipped up to the ceiling, and then you have the light switch just here. If the bed was to malfunction, it can be manually wound up or down, and it's just done at this point just here. So you are supplied with this winding tool just here. Just remove the cover and then locate the 13mm nut, and then just wind the bed up or down. Both front seats, as you can see, can be rotated round, and they are rotated round just on this lever just here. Move the seat backwards and forwards on the centre bar just there, and then both seats are height adjustable on the levers just here.